I don't think Zelensky understands that the people that he feels the most affinity with are the Europeans, the globalists, and here in the United States, the Obama, Clinton, Biden people, the bicoastal elite. And I hope to God he's not being advised, as some rumors this morning, Jack, that people like Victoria Nuland, Vindman, Blinken, Susan Rice were advising him to toughen it out with Trump. Because here's the problem. He's supposed to be a very sophisticated person, but the people that he feels comfortable cannot help him. Europe cannot save Ukraine, and the left and the Democrats are out of power. The people who can save him and get him a good deal are the people whom he does not like, and that's MAGA, Trump, Rubio, Vance. So he's got to keep that in mind. Number two, I wrote down, he thinks that our agendas are the same as his. And when Trump said, well, we have a two-ocean, he said, well, they'll come out. He started lecturing Trump on geostrategy. They'll come after you. But we have some interest with him. We don't want an aggressive, restless Russia, and we'd like I get that. But Donald Trump was trying to tell him about World War III. He was trying to say, and I'm going to translate Trumpese because this is what he was implying, that you don't have a proxy war under the rules of the Cold War. Maybe that's what we're in with Russia. You don't use a proxy war on the homeland border of your nuclear adversary to get advantage. The last time that was tried was Nikita Khrushchev tried to use Cuba 90 miles away from the U.S. as a proxy to harm us with missiles, etc. And we went to DEFCON 2. That is, the bombs were loaded and ready to go. So we didn't tolerate that. So we're playing with fire, and he doesn't understand that. And Trump is also, he wants to, like Henry Kissinger, triangulate. Russia is no friendlier to China than it is to us, vice versa. China is no friendlier to Russia than it is us. And he wants to break up that China-Russia alliance. And he is a humanitarian. He keeps saying he does not like to see 1.5 million people. We don't have any allegiances except to the United States. And that's when he started criticizing Trump as if he doesn't know that. Basically, he wanted Trump to do what Biden did. Biden called Putin a murderer. And Trump said to Zelensky, I'm not going to go call him names and then call him up and try to negotiate. That's what a negotiator does. And if any never Trumpers are listening and say, Victor, you're pro-Putin, ask what Barack Obama did. He had Hillary push a reset button and said, we're going to get along with Putin in a way that Bush didn't. And of course, they made it worse. The other thing, Europe now today, and I'm speaking on Saturday, March 2nd, is they think they're independent now. And they're talking, that crazy Canadian former foreign minister who said that she wanted nuclear weapon deterrence from France and Britain to protect Canada from the U.S., they really are starting to drop the veneer of their anti-Americanism. But here's the thing. They keep taking, we're going to go in there, we're going to be peakies here, we don't need the United States. Well, they do need the United States, unless they're counting on the 50 or 60 planes that Germany has, or the 10 or 15 tanks that Spain has. But they run up $180 to $200 billion with us. They claim we only pay 16% of the NATO budget. That we're one member. There's 32 nations. That's inordinate itself. But more importantly, we spend billions to keep the Red Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, the South China Sea, the Black Sea. All of these were open to, and they're vital to European commerce. And they're de facto under our nuclear shield. I don't think that their nuclear deterrence deters anyone. So they better be very careful about alienating the United States. If they want to play the United States, they're welcome to try. Promises, but they're going to have to do 2 or 3 things. They're going to have to cut their social welfare budget. They're going to have to get rid of their Green Deal fixation, and they're going to have to rearm at 3 to 5% or more to catch up. And I don't see them doing that. Another thing, what's kind of ironic is they were very close to a deal. All the issues have been resolved. Everybody knows they're armed better than any other NATO continental army now, more experience. but they're not going to be in NATO. Nobody's going to give them the wherewithal to take back the Crimea and Donbass. So you only have two issues left. How far will Vladimir Putin go back to his 2022 borders? And how will you deter him? And Trump came up with a solution. He said, right along the Donbass, where all the rare earth minerals are found, and things like uranium, we're going to make a commercial corridor and give us a concession, 50-50. You supply the materials, we supply the investment, and we'll get other people involved, and you'll have a Dubai-like corridor, and Putin will not invade because it'll be a de facto tripwire. And Mr. Zelensky, if you don't believe me, ask yourself when he did not invade. He didn't invade when I was president. So I think that is ironic, because when Zelensky kept interrupting, he didn't quite see that there was hardly anything left to discuss. He didn't give us an alternative either, Jack. What is the alternative? So he goes out, he interrupts, and he gets angry, and he's a guest. He kind of insults the host. He's a client. He insults the patron. So now where is he right now? Well, if Vladimir Putin wants to have a spring offensive, and believe me, he will. They are, as J.D. Vance, everybody, I suggest everybody look at The Spectator today. There's an article by a Ukrainian legislator with a pseudonym. And he says that it's true what Trump said, that there's only about 10% support for Zelensky. He's jailing his enemies. There's no habeas corpus, that they are shanghaiing people, like Vance said. So my point is, if he wants to not take any more of the 300 billion or whatever it is, nobody really knows the exact number, then what is his example? If he thinks the Europeans are going to save him, he is sorely disappointed. And I don't think they'll last another month. A couple of other things. If there is a deal, Jack, there'd be what? Elections after that, peace, and he would restore political parties, he would restore opposition media, he would restore habeas corpus. He says he can't have elections because, unlike us in the Civil War or World War II, his country is under air assault. It would be dangerous to go out there. Well, Washington was almost taken by Jubal Early in 1864. So, I mean, that doesn't end. If you look at Civil War battlefields, which you and I know pretty well, Fredericksburg, Gettysburg, and they're not that far from the capital. But nevertheless, if they were to have elections, if a ceasefire, what would they find out? Would he win? I don't think he would win. And with the opposition who came in, would they start to be transparent and show us the bookkeeping? So does he have an incentive for that not to happen? I'm just throwing that out.